mark a significant acceptance, especially with institutional investors and with mainstream investors of crypto as another asset class. This was not the case 2 years ago, for example. 2 years ago, crypto was this bizarre thing that few people felt comfortable touching. I think that one of the things that exchanges like Coinbase do is they make it easier for normal people to hold crypto, because you don't have to deal with all the yucky crypto interface, and you're basically dealing with something that looks like your online broker that you're dealing with stocks and bonds and so on. So it helps bring it into the mainstream, and it actually ushers a new era for other exchanges as well that until not long ago were kind of in the gray zone, more into the mainstream.
Yep. Okay. That's helpful. And I'm curious if you have opinions. And I'm asking this question for a specific reason, because I own the stock Voyager Digital. And what I think, do you know this company?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about it. But basically, it's a crypto brokerage is how they define themselves, not an exchange, and that it connects to about a dozen exchanges, and then allows users to basically get filled on what the currency that they want at whatever exchange has the cheapest price at that given time. It seems to me that's sort of like the futuristic model, especially for people who are actively trading, and even for people who are investing, because that price disparity does exist. And so I'm curious if you have any opinion on a business like that.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. If you look at today's crypto market, it's fairly inefficient, and I think it is very similar to early stage markets. It's very inefficient. You can find significant differences between different exchanges, and this is what makes this business tick, right? Voyager Digital. And it also part of what drives the DeFi industry and the growth of that industry last year significantly. And it's the ability to find differences between different exchanges, between different prices, between different interest rates, and so on. I think that as the market becomes more efficient, assuming the market continues growing and becomes more mainstream, more efficiencies will be built into the market. Exchanges will be connected to each other, and you'll find less opportunities for differences like this. But I think that for the next at least 2 or 3 years, it's going to remain a very profitable business.
Okay, awesome. And let's hop over to NFTs. Another very hot, trendy place in the market. I'm curious if your portfolio has any exposure to NFTs. If it is, or even if it doesn't, is it a place that you'd want to get exposure into the future? Is it a long term? Is it here to stay? Is basically the question, and so enough that you'd want to be involved.
So let's start with the end. Yes, it's here to stay.
Okay.
It's a very clear yes, it's here to stay for many reasons. I mean, it is really, really cool and flashy right now because it has grown tremendously. Last year, over 300%. I think it will grow. It will more than quadruple itself this year as well. There are a lot of celebrities involved in this, like Grimes and Banksy and Jack Dorsey and a bunch of others, and you see extremely high value items like the piece of art that Beeple sold for $69 million, and Grimes selling digital art for $6 million in like 20 seconds or something. I mean, this is all cool and a lot of pizzazz around it. But at the basic level, NFTs are here to stay because they solve real world problems of several domains. They obviously started from digital art, where there are real problems like proving ownership, registering ownership, authenticity, and so on. They solve issues like ownership in items like rare collectibles and so on, in assets for games, for example. This is a very rich and interesting market where rarity is significant and ownership is significant. And these are very difficult to do for digital items. And this is where it all started. And NFTs have the capability as a technology to solve a lot of those issues and smooth a lot of those transactions and make them more accessible. So if we take the pizzazz away, it's real world solutions to problems. It's making trade much more efficient in areas of art and collectibles and games. And it has many other applications that were not explored yet, like whales, for example. Almost anything that you can think of that represents something unique or rare has application that NFTs can solve. We are more interested in platforms and in providers that enable solutions within an ecosystem. And we're definitely looking at the NFT ecosystem for potential investments. And I think for people who are interested in gaining from the growth of that industry, the place to look is companies that enable new capabilities and new applications in this domain, not just the marketplaces, but there are many other components that are still missing and will have to be developed over the next few years, both from a technology standpoint and from a service standpoint.
Awesome. And I, going off of like you're talking about ecosystems and some of the real world problems, I see a company in your portfolio, lottery.com. And that's actually one that I got connected with really early on. I think when they were just getting started, I met Tony maybe in New York or something, like back in 2016, 2017, pretty early on into their business. It seems like blockchain technology could be a very futuristic solution for managing lottery. So I if nothing else other than just for my own interest, what's going on with that business, what's interesting with it, etc.
It's actually very, very interesting. It's going public, the New York Stock Exchange. They're doing extremely well. Actually, Lottery.com used blockchain mainly for fundraising in the early stages of the company, rather than run the day-to-day business. The day-to-day business of operating lotteries is a very interesting and complex business, but this is not where they're utilizing blockchain the most.
Okay, got it. And then any other thoughts? Any other words of wisdom? Things we should leave our viewers with? Places that they can stay in touch, etc.
So obviously, if people are interested in blockchain and in real life applications and how to benefit from the growth of this domain, it's really hard to do it by investing in individual companies. Most of them are early stage companies, and it's very, very hard to separate the diamonds from the rest of the pile. So investing through VC funds or through funds that invest in this domain is what I would advise. And SPicevc.com is a place to look at what we do. And you can go into our blog and see a bunch of articles that we published on different domains that relate to blockchain. Happy to talk to anybody that is interested.
Awesome. Tal, super interesting conversation. And I love the sort of the different conversation you can bring, right? A lot of times when we have crypto guests on, it's, hey, we're just going to speculate about the price of Bitcoin. But I love that, you're able and you do, I mean, that's what you do all day is you really dig into these businesses and the applications. So thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.